Hi, everyone. I just wanted to introduce myself, but I know some of you, and I'm sorry I haven't been able to meet with you. Too many other complications. I heard you talking about government relations. I work at CAE, retired after 24 years at the FAA, headquarters drone and now AAM. Just came back from 2 days with FAA and DOT in Washington, D.C. to discuss the SFAR. So
Nice.
happy to
Thank
help there.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, I'll take note of that. Excellent. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We are recording this because we found that sometimes time doesn't work for everybody. So our current YouTube for our last meeting has over 200 views, and so a lot of people want to make sure that they're able to listen in and hear the meeting. So before we start, we're going to do a couple of housekeeping items. Number one, if you haven't filled out the survey, I am putting it in the chat right now. So please make sure that we have your email. Okay, this is how we're going to be able to send you information on upcoming meetings, any type of news that we might have. So please, 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 please fill out this survey because it is very, very important that we have your email addresses so we can reach everyone out there. I'm on LinkedIn all the time, but I know a lot of people aren't, and everyone has TikToks and Instagram and Facebook, but this kind of everyone checks their email, so let's make sure that we have our email address. Number two housekeeping item is I know many of you guys out there know of Dr. William Warmbrook from NASA Ames and the Air Mechanics branch. Many of you may have been he may have been your mentor, where you're an intern in our branch for over the years, but he has been an influential person in the community, and especially a advocate for women in vertical flight. And I want to he's going to be retiring, and so I am putting in the chat right now information about how you can reach him in terms of either sending him a card or letter, or even emailing him to let him know that we appreciate him. We want to make sure that he is leaving retirement and he understands the magnitude that he has done for our community, and so we are very thankful for him. Yes, for Bill Warmbrook. And finally, the last housekeeping item will be is in the coming weeks, we'll be sending out an email asking for folks that are interested that want to be on the board of directors. Right now, it's just kind of a small group of us, but we would really like to have a couple more folks kind of help us out so we can really hit all the different ideas and desires that everybody in Woven wants out of this. So this is supposed to be a community where we can, talk about things where we don't necessarily talk about, in our technical fields. And so we want to make sure that we can provide that service. That's what Woven is for. It's for everyone out there to kind of talk and engage beyond our technical knowledge. So look out for that email. And with that said, we are going to go ahead and get started here. So welcome, everybody. This is the second Woven meeting, and I am so excited to be here. This is just a very personal to my heart, and I'm very happy that we have a wonderful panel here that we can ask questions. All right, and they are wonderful ladies. Each and every one of them is very kind, and if you ever see them out anywhere, they are more than willing to say hi to you, and when you walk up to them, they are very, very wonderful folks. So after you leave this meeting, I want you to feel that if you go see them, at a conference or something like that, that is a warm person that you can go up to and you can ask them anything and they can give you advice, and they are just some wonderful women and leaders that we can look up to so we can further advance vertical flight. With that said, instead of me going around introducing everyone, because I don't want to talk anymore, we are going to go around to each one of our panel members, and we are going to have them kind of give us a little background about them. So we're going to first start off with Professor Marilyn Smith from Georgia Tech. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Marilyn Smith, as Natasha said, from Georgia Tech. I'm a professor here, and I'm the director of the Vertical Lift Research Center of Excellence. My research is in computational nonlinear air elasticity and unsteady aerodynamics. My mentors post high school were always men, and so it's not a bad thing. Some of them who you may recognize, Dewey Hodges was just an awesome, best person I ever met, and he helped quite a bit. And Bill Warmbroat was always very supportive. And another person who I want to mention is Dan Schrage, who, when the person here, the chair said a woman could not lead the Rotorcraft Center, Dan said, no, they can. And he stayed on an extra year to ensure that I got a fair shake and could lead it. I guess an interesting thing about me that you may or may not know is that I am known around here as the crazy cat professor, and I have taken care of our community cats on campus for 27 years now and going strong. So go cats.
Ah,
uh, Next.
beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. So with that, I like that she shared a fun fact because that also kind of makes us gets us a little more personal. So that was
Yeah.
so beautiful. I really like that. Thank you for that. All right, next we have my boss's 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 boss, Huy Tran. Take it away.
Good morning. Good morning. Like Natasha said, my name is Huy Tran, and I'm a director of aeronautics at NASA Ames Research Center. We do a lot of research and development of technology in either air traffic management or vertical lift, where Natasha comes from, and CFD analysis and vehicle analysis of future configurations. We also do some drone flying locally and bring in the vertical lift technology to address a wildfire. That's an area that's close to our heart. So that's about us. Let's see. Actually, just like Marilyn said, my first mentor actually also a man, but he is an engineering tech. He's an engineering technician in a lab that I work with, and I learn everything about working for NASA and do research from him. I also have another opportunity that was mentored um, um, by Mike Talbot, who is we call he's the god of entry system. So again, he's helped me a lot in getting understanding of spacecraft entry, how to do back of the envelope calculation. CFD is great, but as an engineer, you gotta know how to do that back for the envelope calculation so that you can get to the answer at 80%, and just to guide you along. So interesting fact about me, not everybody know, but if you are Vietnamese and you see my name, you think I'm a man, because my name is a man name purely, and because my mom and dad wanted a boy, so they named me first before I got out. So there you go.
Very nice, very nice. Very good, very good. All right, we're gonna go to Maryam. Take it away.
Absolutely. Pleasure to be here. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you, the organization, for doing this, because we all need to get together. We get lonely from time to time on our day-to-days. So I work at Archer Aviation. I'm the senior manager for propellers at Archer, and I have been doing propellers previously at Joby, and then prior to that, I've been doing rotorcraft. My education is rotorcraft from Penn State Vertical Lift Center of Excellence, and so I grew up in rotorcraft, and then I migrated to the electric vertical takeoff and landing, and that's what Archer does. For those who you have not heard about it, which I doubt there's anybody, because there's a lot of discussions around it. We are planning on blackening the skies and making opening new ways of new modes of transportation for everybody. It's we have vehicle that has 12 propellers, tilting front, lifting in the back. And we want to be operating as commuters for starting in areas with a high lots of congestion like Los Angeles, UAE, places that we have initial operations planned. In New York to do to and from the congested areas that go to the airports, basically. And so my mentors, initially, I worked at Advanced Rotorcraft Technology, and over there I had the pleasure of working with my uncle, who was the vice president of engineering, Hussein Saberi, at Advanced Rotorcraft Technology. So he was my first mentor, basically, when I started my work. I started an internship there and I stayed there, and then I realized that I don't want to be the niece all the time. I want to be myself, and maybe he could be my uncle. So I went on and did, the road. I went on to Penn State and then went to Sikorsky. At Sikorsky, I had the pleasure of working with many amazing folks. It was wonderful when I asked people, so how long have you been here? Having gone from Bay Area to Sikorsky, people would say 30 years, 32 years. And I was like, oh my God. So that was not to be taken lightly because it comes with a ton of experience and tribal knowledge and know-how. And it was amazing to be working with those people and their willingness and amazingness, still some of the best people I have ever known and worked with. So Bill Welsh, Nick Lapis, Ken Rosen, those are some of the few. And as Marilyn said, obviously men, because there were not so many women around. So I had the pleasure of working and learning from those guys. I learned how to technically communicate, how to make things simple, or how to look ahead, how to see the bigger picture from those folks. And then later on, when I came to the vertical flight sector, I did some technical work, some management work. I had a boss who retired, unfortunately, and broke my heart. But he was amazing in terms of empowerment. He was wonderful because he was very respectful. He would be the type of person that would see everybody as equal. So there was no issues there with being a woman, and especially for me being a woman of maybe color, you would say, and then also a foreign, somebody that's a dual citizen, basically. So I had a lot of strikes against me, but to be seen as equal and to be given the opportunities to be empowered, he made sure that he would come to the meetings initially that I had as a leader and would tell everybody that Maryam's leading this, guys, listen to her. This is her show. And that would be it. He would set the stage and then everything would, go well after that. Fun fact, I'm a yoga instructor, so I have a soft side to me as well.
Excellent. Excellent. So maybe one of our meetings we can do yoga together. That's great. Awesome.
Yes.
Oh, very good. Awesome. Great. All right. Last but not least, Buvana, take it away.
Thank you, Natasha. It's great to be here with all of you. And I think my story is very similar to the rest of the women, the great women who went ahead of me. So my background is slightly different. Though I'm in Rotorcraft now, my initial training was in math. So I think I owe my career to my project mentor when I was doing my master's, who kind of made me aware that math is not the only path. I could go into aerospace if I wanted to. So that is why I'm here today. I really owe it to him. So after my master's, I was able to apply to aerospace engineering, and then that's why I'm here. So I got my PhD from India in Indian Institute of Science, and then I came to the US to work as a postdoc at the Engineering Research Center at Mississippi State University. And then I moved on to Lawrence Berkeley National Lab here in Berkeley doing flow inside buildings. So in fact, I was working with, trying to understand how the pollutants get transported inside the buildings. And this is the time when 9/11 happened and there was an anthrax release. And this was the hot topic at that time. So we were doing CFD to understand how the pollutants get transported and how people will be affected and how we can protect people inside buildings. And from there, I came here to work with Army doing rotorcraft analysis. So back in 2007, I'm sure many of you know about the code called Helios, which is used for doing rotorcraft aeromechanics analysis. I started working with the team of Helios developers back in 2007 as one of the developers. And then I switched to applications, and now I am leading the team here. I'm the branch chief for the computational aeromechanics branch, working with a great group of people. And like everyone else who went before me, my mentors were also men. And so it's great. It's been a nice journey, and I really hope to work and help in whichever way I can with all the young women and to help with your career and anything that I can help with.
Excellent. And fun fact.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Fun fact is I'm avid interest in music, and I'm still learning the Indian classical music.
Oh, beautiful. Do you play an instrument?
No, yes, I did play an instrument, but now I don't have the instrument with me anymore. So it's my voice is my instrument now.
Oh, we need you on the NASA Army Christmas band next year. We've been practicing.
Yes.
All right. Excellent. All right. So this next question that we're going to all start with, I think some of you guys already kind of hit it, but what the question is can you identify a mentor that has had a strong impact on you, and how did they support you professionally that you also carry that on, to people that you may mentor? So we are going to, Bhuvana, since you just went, why don't we'll start back at you, okay?
Sure. Yeah. So I would like to particularly talk about two people. One was my boss, Dr. Ashok Gadkal, when I was at Lawrence Berkeley National Lab, and other was also my boss while after I came here, Dr. Roger Strawn. And both of them had a great impact on me because they actually tried, didn't allow me to settle for just the normal things. They said, you can do it. And they kept pushing me, and they kept encouraging me and also giving me opportunities to kind of grow in my career. I think that is the most important thing that I feel is getting the opportunities, because now, if you are not a person who actually goes after things and sits and waits for things, you need somebody to kind of identify that you can do it and kind of help you to grow. And that way, I was lucky. I had people who kind of wanted to see me grow and help me with that. So I'm really grateful for that.
Beautiful. See, we might be called woven, but we are also so appreciative of all the different men that have helped us. Like, so I think that's really wonderful. We need those advocates, because that's how we can work together collaboratively. All right, next up, I know Professor Smith kind of hit on Professor Dewey Hodges, but would you like to add more to him, or identify any other strong mentors in your life?
Well, yeah, I mean, so early on, when I was in college, back in the late 70s, early 80s, um, Robin Gray, who most of you probably recognize that name, he was my first rotorcraft professor, and Al Pierce, who was an air elastician. They both encouraged me in a time where, there weren't very many women. They encouraged me. I am a first gen college graduate, and money was an issue. So I was working my way through school, and so was my husband. So I ended up taking a job, but they encouraged me to come back and do my graduate work part time. And they said, we know you can do it. So very, very encouraging. And like I said, I mean, Dewey Hodges was he taught me that what you want to do is you want to treat everyone as an individual. It doesn't matter what you know, their religion, their gender, whatever. Everyone's an individual and everyone is different. Do not apply stereotypes, and give everyone a chance and be fair. And my mantra now that I am, ending up my career in the next few years is, when I want to help the younger people, including this cohort, um, you know, uh, what would I have liked someone to have done for me when I was in your position and your age? And that's kind of what I am trying to do. And that's kind of my mantra as I move on. So
Oh, that's so good. I really, really like that. Oh, beautiful. All right, we take it away.
All right. So I'm thinking, one of my mentor is, like I said, the first one is the engineering technician. It's, in a tech, in a research area, the technician are not really well respected, right? Because they are supposed to be doing all the handwork and build stuff for us, and the engineer is supposed to come up with the idea, right? But he's probably the smartest engineer I know, but what he taught me is that you need to respect everyone, no matter what position they are. You respect them as a human and respect them for what they are and how well they do their job. And I still carry it on today. As you know, I talk to all of you guys. I do go to the wind tunnel sometime and to the vertical motion simulator and talk to people, and I hope I carry his advice to me. And I think that's a really important thing in the professional world. Sometimes we're so busy and we kind of just forget that. But I think that's one of the things that I took away from. My other mentor, actually, Estelle Condon, she one of the few women actually in her field at the time. And again, working for her for 6 to 8 years in the director office, I learned that the best way to get things done is to have one-on-one conversation. Talk to people. Uh, build consensus, but it doesn't have to be the decision does not have to be a consensus decision, because as a leader, you listen to all the input, but eventually you have to make that decision. And making a timely decision is much better than no decision, because that actually the people that work below you looking for that kind of leadership. And so I carry it on every day here at my in my role, and I hope that I've done what she teach me to do. I still talk to her. She's retired 10 years ago or so, but we're still in contact, and what she taught me and other that came before me really shaped how I conduct myself daily as a director at Ames here. Thank you.
Oh, that was beautiful, beautiful. All right, Maryam, you're next.
All right. So the names that I named before, for those of you who know them, they are the giants in our industry. So I remember though, when I would walk up to Bill's desk, Bill Walsh's desk, as a junior, engineer that had just started at Sikorsky, he would be very simply communicating the most difficult concepts. So that's where I learned from him that simplicity, and you don't have to be like so complex, because the topics as a rotor dynamicist, what we deal with is so complex that it's very easy to lose people in the dust and then keep going. So I learned from him that make it simple. There's no, winning when you make a complex concept even more complex, and simplicity wins. And that communication, technical communication was I'm very grateful that if I have learned it from him, that I could break things down, make them simpler and digestible step by step moving forward. And with Hossein as well. So I did Rotorcraft comprehensive analysis system. And then I would be running a case that is like, fast forward flight, like complex aerodynamic models, complex geometry, complex like with beams, like elastic beams, things like that. And I would go to him and say, this is not working, and it's giving me this problem. I'm trying to and he would tell me, go back to hover. Have you done it at hover? Start from hover. And I still remember, and I still to this day, when we are running very complex conditions, and I always think about, let's go back to hover. It's axisymmetric. Let's see if we can understand the root cause and pinpoint it there. So those are valuable. And then of course, Professor Gandhi, who was my PhD advisor. So that's something so those are technical, and I'm jumping onto them soft skills. Farhan Gandhi and I went to sabbatical to Bristol University for 1 year. And then when we were there, he pulled me into his office one day and said, Maryam, I am tired. Everybody comes to me and talks about your personality. I want them to talk about your work. And as women, we have colorful personalities. We are very communicative. We are very outgoing. We connect with people. So obviously, people who knew him, they would be like, oh, you're with Maryam, Maryam this, Maryam that. And then he was like, but that was very interesting and important because we cannot let our work be a shadow of who we are as people. And in the industry that we are, you need to become the expert. You need to own your technical discipline and know your thing. And then your personality adds to that, and whoever you are and the way you are will add to that. So that was a very important conversation in my career that made me realize that, okay, let me make sure that my work becomes as, dominant and as colorful as the person that I am. And I'm not a shadow of my personality, basically, my work. And then my boss at Joby, Steve Waller. So he was an amazing leader. He was very inclusive and he was very respectful, caring, an amazing human being like Dewey Hodges. But for those who don't know Steve, and Steve is a very much under the radar type of guy, and I'm sure he would not be happy I named him here. He didn't like the spotlight ever. But from him, I learned kindness, and I learned that how simple it is really to lead. Leadership, there's all these courses, do this, do that, take this, take that, sophistication and all of that. But from Steve, I learned that just be a human. And Steve told me, and I told him, Steve, you're amazing. How do you do that? And he said, I just respect everybody. And I try to take that with me to, team members, everybody I interact with, that just respect people and everything will fall in place, basically.
Oh, that's wonderful. So just listening to the four answers, the things that resonated with me is that you all had mentors that showed you kindness, respect, equality. Oh, I guess someone might not be muted. Oh, let me mute them. 1 second. All right, yes. So yeah, those please mute your mics if you oh, here we go. I got it. Thank you. Yeah, so from all those answers, what I really was internalizing is that every one of your mentors, they showed you respect, they showed you kindness, they also had emotional intelligence. And I really like what you said too about, being a leader is easy if you can, have respect for one another and show, care for one another. So that was really beautiful. So all those answers were just really wonderful and actually very simple in the end. All you guys had very similar answers with that. So I really appreciate that, and thank you for sharing those personal aspects of your life. So the next question is, are there any mentorship, scholarship opportunities, or programs available in your organization that can help our group advance their professional development? So this is for more of the early careers, maybe some of the folks that are still at university and in their studies. So we want to make sure we also make everyone aware of different opportunities. So I will start with, let's start with Huy first.
Well, let's see now. We have at Ames, so the internship program, there's a couple ways to do that. The NASA internship program is recruiting, I think, in January. I think January they're going to open that, and also there's a pathway for students that pursuing a degree, but would like to be a civil servant eventually. Natasha and a lot of people in this group are the beginning with their career as a pathway. So and we hope to keep them forever. So that's one way to do that. The second kind of internship is more of come from our contractor. We have contract with companies that also run intern. So typically, we will request for them to post position, and they will post them, and then hopefully people would go and apply to it. So check all those websites for that, and we can put the company website on in the chat so that people can know how to apply. Mentorship, I think NASA right now we have semi-formal mentorship program, but for me, I think a lot of mentorship is more of a one-on-one and an unofficial per se. So I mentor a few people, both men and women, and my door is always open. So they come and see me once a month, and we can talk about family. You know, they started family, how to take care of the kid. You know, dealing with work-life balance and family raising, and feel guilty when you drop your kids off at at daycare and pick them up late. So things like that I think for women and for men to this day are very important, is that to have somebody kind of bounce idea through and just talk, right? Just to be a listener to them for about listen to their challenges, and sometimes that by itself is helpful.
Very good. Thank you. I put a couple of links in the chat, and I will say, like we said, the internship things, there's posts already out there for summer, so you gotta apply early for these NASA ones. I'm not even kidding you. Don't come to us in May and ask for a summer internship. So a lot of these apply early, okay? And also, I am more than welcome to, you can ask me any questions. I've reviewed a lot of resumes. NASA, we love students. It is very close to my heart. So thank you, Huy. And I can contest that. Yes, I love the NASA internship program, and actually I was the first pathways at NASA Ames, but very wonderful program, and I'm very blessed to be a part of it. So thank you for that. That's beautiful. Good. All right, Professor Smith, you're next.
All right. So a lot of times if you want to be a faculty member coming straight out of your PhD program, you're not what we call quite baked yet. So we have this program that is a postdoc program, and it's really nice because it is sponsored by our school, and they pay for half of it. But in addition to being able to teach a class to get some of that experience, you are able to go in and take some of the courses to make yourself a better teacher, to learn how to be a faculty member. And you have two faculty mentors. For example, Christina Rizzo, who I see on the chat, she and I are hoping to get a postdoc next year, an excellent, exceptional young lady who is wanting to join academia. So we are actively looking. It just closed, unfortunately, because it was December 1st. But if you're thinking you might want to go into academia, and it is potentially for a position here or not. So it's not linked to one or the other. We take both. But if you're interested, give me a heads up, and I'll help out.
Excellent. And Professor Smith, I put a couple of links in the chat. Can you just make sure those are the correct ones, so we can make sure that we provide that information? Oh, great. Thank you, Christina. Awesome. Great. Awesome. Very good. Very good. I didn't even know that. That's fantastic. I learned something new today, too. All right. We're going to go to Maryam now. Maryam.
So at Archer, we have internship program, and I encourage people to apply early. I believe it starts taking applications in January. So our career website is the place that you can look for those. Those are great opportunities because Archer is very small and agile. And when you come here, you do what you do, and then you get to have the exposure to the adjacent and maybe not so adjacent disciplines, and see if that's something that you could be flourishing in and growing in and more interested in. So I definitely encourage to apply. It's a very unique situation in these eVTOL companies, that everybody works so closely together, and there's this openness and communication of information. So that has been very interesting for me, and I'm sure many young people who would be interested in growing, they would be happy to be in that situation as well. Then we also have the Women Association. So once you come in, then another interesting thing about Archer is that there are so many amazing women that work there. It's a very different from other aerospace places that I have been, and then these women are mostly, and not mostly, like, they're all over, like we have, early career, mid-career, but we have a good concentration of very advanced, in their career women and in technical, in key roles basically in the company. So just once you're in there, then a lunch conversation or a hallway conversation, you just understand organically who you connect with, who your mentor would be, who you want to be, learning more from and talking to more. So there's a lot of women that you would see in the hallways and around your desk at Archer.
Oh, great. And can you double check the link? Do you mind putting the link in the chat so we can tell folks where they need to go to apply to any of those internships or any of the other information?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. All right, Buvana, take it away.
Sure. Yeah, we do have internship opportunities. We normally host 4 to 5 summer interns every year, and this year we are planning to host 5 of them. This is through the HPCMP ORISE program. Unfortunately, I don't have the links right now, so once I have the links, I'll probably send it to Natasha and she can broadcast it. So we had very good success with our interns. We bring interns, they end up working with us like more than one summer, and then we have hired quite a few of them. So in fact, it's been a great avenue for us to find young folks who are interested to come and work with us. And the good thing about working with, we are a small group, and but they are with very highly skilled and world-class engineers. So it's a great training program for our young engineers to advance their careers, as well as not just to work here, to work anywhere in rotorcraft industry. Yeah. So it's a great opportunity. We don't have a formal mentorship program as well as of now, but I'll be glad to support anybody who would like to talk. So because I have benefited from talking to many people, and I would like to return the favor and help the young folks. If you need anything, feel free to just reach out anytime.
Wonderful. Oh, thank you so much. And I think that goes for most of us. So very good. Thank you so much. All right. So we are going to go to our next question. And I will say, so after this question, we're going to open it up to our studio audience. And please feel free to put questions in the chat. If there's anything that you would like to ask either one of them individually or the whole group. So please don't hesitate, because if not, I'm just going to keep on asking questions. And I know you guys have a lot of probably good ideas and good questions that you would want to be answered. So for our next question, what non-technical / soft skills are needed in your role? All right, so for this one, we are going to start off with, we'll start with Maryam first.
So I deal with people, a lot of people, all across, the disciplines and, different technical, non-technical. People communicate differently. So communication absolutely is a soft skill that's much required. And what helps me personally, there are 2 things I want to highlight. One is that it's not personal. People have different personalities. They approach things differently. They talk differently. They have tones differently. Don't take it personal. Get over it and carry on, basically. So that helps me. It's not that, it's not a perfect world. I do get upset. I cuss a little bit, and then I get over it. So we need to, so that's definitely important. Don't take it personal. And the second one is brevity. Be brief. Get the point across. Period. Done. Stop talking. So that's what I think in communication helps.
Gotcha. Oh, good. Don't be long-winded. I like that one. Very good. Very good. All right. Next one we're going to go to is Buvana.
Definitely communications, and I think approaching people with empathy and put yourself in their shoes, because I think everything they are going through, we have gone through at some point in our lives. So try to understand the situation that people are in, give them a benefit of doubt, and be understanding, and help as much as you can to help people to overcome whatever shortcomings they have. Particularly as a leader, that's very important. Otherwise, If you lose the trust of the people, then it becomes very difficult to gain the trust back again. And
Yeah.
like Miriam said, we need to have a thick skin. Like you have to cannot take things personally. Things do happen, but we have to accept what it is and move on.
And even when it is personal, if you don't take it personal, it helps you, because sometimes it's really personal, but
Yes,
don't
it
take it
is.
personal.
Yeah, it's hard, but we have to. Yes, yeah, right.
Oh, all right. Very good. Very good. All right. You're up.
Yeah, so I think the soft skill in for my job currently is listening. So in a meeting, typically I'm the last one to talk in a meeting. I spend a lot of time listening to people. Different voices have different people have a different opinion. And also you have to pay attention to their background too, right? So, where they come from, what the culture differences between cultures. So people might interpret things differently. So, look for that. Um, and also, one thing that I learned is that as a leader, you need to encourage your people to make sure that they understand the same thing. Because we say a lot of things using the same word, but it means so much different from one person to the next. And sometime in a meeting, the people would disagree and argue, and I finally said, okay, yeah, what does this mean? What does it mean to you? And then I realized they talk across each other. So as a team lead, you need to sometimes checking in and making sure that people are using the same definition of a word that they use, and that would help the team. And like Miriam said, don't take it personal. It's if you leave, if you check um your how you say that, your
Ego
ego
at the
at the
door.
door, then you be good.
Yeah.
You be good. And but listening is learning how to listen and really listen to people and have the empathy, what is important in my job right now,
Oh, yeah.
and
That's
at
so
home
good.
too, and at home too.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. Yeah, we don't want our words to get lost in translation when in the end we're saying the same exact thing. So, very good. All right, and Professor Smith, take it away.
Yeah, everything everyone said. Let me add something else. Uh, your writing and your speech. We're all in just general conversation, but when we're writing things or giving presentations that are professional, you have to use professional language. You need to spell things correctly, use the correct grammar, not colloquialism or slang. And I think that's more important for women than it is for men, because people judge you on what you write and how you say things. And so, you have to be a little more cognizant that people are judging you as women. Just a very brief, quick story is that long time, 30 years ago, when I was in industry, because I was in industry for 17 years before I came to academia. And my supervisor at the time, even though I had a master's degree and I was, ABD for my dissertation, um, I was excluded from various things. And they said, well, you need to go take speech lessons because everyone thinks you're stupid because you have a Southern accent. I, of course, pushed back on that because if you know me, I would have pushed back on that. But it just illustrates that you're held to a higher standard because you're a woman. And I still think that's true today, even though that happened a long time ago. I think people do it, they just don't say it the way they used to 30 and 40 years ago. But they still think it. So be aware and make sure when you're in a professional setting that you do that professionally. And you know, it makes you look good. It makes you look smart when you use the right grammar. So That's all I have.
Thank you. That was really, really good. I appreciate that. And then, like, another point, I think, yeah, we are women and we get judged on more than our technical skills. I think Maryam really hit this on the head on one of the things she discussed. It's like, it's our personality. It's the way we talk, as Professor Smith said. It's, the way we carry ourselves. It's the way we look. It's the way we dress, which, that is not necessarily the same for our male counterparts all the time. So, which is kind of sad, but yeah, so those are like just kind of extra things that sometimes, we have to like consider. I think a man can wear the same suit every 4 days, but if a woman comes in her dress, the same dress she had every 4 days, someone's gonna say something. So, and I've seen that before. So I really appreciate that. So with that said, I want to turn this over to our audience. So can you please raise your hand, or also you could provide a question in the chat here. We have only 13 minutes, but I want to make sure that if there's anything, please do not be shy at all to ask any question that you may have. Like, these women are here for you and for us to absorb and learn from them. And they're very friendly. They're not going to bite. Don't worry. So please don't hesitate to ask a question. So I'll give everyone a couple of seconds to come up with any questions that they might have. And no question is dumb. We all want to hear it. We all want to hear from them. So please raise your hand or type in the chat if you have a question.
They're shy.
They are shy. Okay, oh, sweet. We have it. We have multiple. Okay, here we go. All right. So let's go. Oh, Marge. What is your question?
Oh, first of all, thank you guys so much for putting this on. This is fantastic, and I feel lucky to be a part of it. I had a question for Dr. Smith. You mentioned that you kind of mentor people the way that you wish you were mentored coming up through academia and the industry. What is one thing you wish you knew kind of coming up through graduate school, getting your PhD, getting your master's, that you would have told yourself?
I think knowing the process, not having all the information. Remember when I went through it, it's pre-internet too. So knowing the process, but knowing pitfalls and, hey, don't do that. That'll get you in trouble. Go do it this way. That kind of help, and just helping to navigate what I call the alligators in the pond, because that can really bite you, and who to stay away from sometimes, because not everybody is going to be nice. So if there's somebody you want to stay away from, or there's a red flag somebody has, you don't want to trigger them and cause problems for yourself. So that's kind of what I would have liked as a student.
Beautiful. Good. And I will say Marge is Professor Dada's student at UMD, and we just saw her for the VLR co-review, and I highly recommend her if anyone's looking out to for students. So she's a wonderful young vertical flight lady coming up. And let's go to Sarvi, who has their hand up.
Hi. I don't know if you guys can hear my voice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for the great talk. I actually learned a lot. But I have one question. I'm currently assistant professor at UT Arlington. And after I graduated with my PhD, I started working at the same school as a research scientist and kind of went up. But now at this point, I kind of got to the point that we realized academia is not the right path for me. So I'm trying to change the area and kind of go more toward the industry. But at this point, I realize that it's not that easy, because I've heard from some recruiters that with a PhD, and since I don't have the industry experience, it's not very, I don't know, interested to the companies. They prefer to have people with industry experience. So since a lot of you have more experience in that field, I was wondering if you have any suggestion, how is it the best way to approach that issue? Because I cannot change what I did right now, but Is there any way to kind of trigger the industry or how to approach that?
I can help. I can start with the answer. So
Okay.
finding a job is all connections, connections. So you need to, what I would think is that start from the connections you have, get your foot through the door. I know with having a PhD, high expectations comes that you need to have a certain job. But if you just get your foot through the door and after that, then you're part of the industry, and then the connections flow, and then people start recognizing your work and knowing who you are, and the next will follow. You just need to use the connections you have today probably to just get yourself in.
I see. Great. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for asking that question. I appreciate that. And then our next question is from Michelle Dominguez at NASA Ames. I think this goes to everyone, so we'll do a round robin on this. I know we have only 8 minutes, so I will do my best to keep us honest on time. Did any of you go through imposter syndrome, and how did you work through it or work through over it? So we will start with well, if you want to share with that, please go ahead. So Bhuvana, do you have any comments on that?
I don't, because I don't think I have dealt with that.
That's good.
Fortunately or unfortunately.
Thank you for being honest. Our last talk was on imposter syndrome, and this is not something that we think everyone has to have. We don't want to put in people's heads either. So thank you for that honest answer, because we all go through different things, and some people do, some people don't, and that's what makes us all different for all different reasons. So that was a wonderful answer. I really appreciate that. That's very good. Thank you. Maryam, do you have any comments on this?
So like any other problem, acknowledgement, I think, is the first thing. So acknowledge it when it happens, when you're in that meeting, when you're in that conversation, that it happens, acknowledge it, that, oh, this is my imposter syndrome kicking in.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
then live with it, because guess what? Everybody has it. Not everybody, Bhavana,
Well, not
obviously
Bhuvana.
have it, but many other people. And it's not just for women. There are men who also have imposter syndrome. And you're not supposed to have all the answers. You're not supposed to know it all just because you're in a certain field. And don't be apologetic when you don't have the answer and when you don't know it. Women over apologize. Don't
Mhm.
apologize. You're not
Yes.
supposed to know it. Just ask the question simply and then get to know it. Okay, I don't know this. Can you tell me? And there's nothing wrong with that, basically.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, own it. Because
Yeah.
once you identify it, that I love that, because that resonates with me. That was really powerful that you said it. So identify it, own it, and learn how to work through it, whatever method or avenue you need to. I really like that answer. That was wonderful, Maryam. We do you have any comments?
I don't think I do, because my opinion, well, wherever I am and what I do, I earn it. So I work hard. I climb the stair
Yes.
many times, so I earn it. So it's mine.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
So I really don't I really don't have that kind of feeling. The one thing that I would suggest is that, and this is from one of my mentor, is that he like I said, he like God of the entry system, right? And in one of the big meetings, somebody asked him a question, and when Mike speak, everybody listen. And somebody asked him a question, and he said, "You know what? I don't know that answer,
Mhm.
but I will get back to you." So as a young engineer, right, when you're in big meeting, you're supposed to know all of it, right? And I'm trying to look at him and say, like, wait a minute, if he can say that, I can say that too.
Yeah.
So that's how I carry on. I said, if I know the answer, then I earn it. If I don't know the answer, I just say I don't know it, and I will get back to you. That's one thing that I think that you can deal with the issue that you have, or the syndrome, like the imposter syndrome, if you encounter it.
One thing to add to that, one of the things that I think helped me was when I saw leaders like yourselves be vulnerable. And when I would see that vulnerability, it does kind of help heal and try to help me understand too that, these people are, human beings, and seeing vulnerability in leaders, I think is very, very important, because it allows us to, maybe kind of reach that level of where they're at, and do it confidently. So I really like that way. That really resonated with me. So I really appreciate you stating that. That was beautiful. And Professor Smith.
Well, just real quick, so we can get to Jessica's question.
Yes.
Just remember that there are very few people out there who are really, really brilliant. You have a Dewey Hodges, but then most people are just bluffing, and remember that, and they don't know anything more than you do. We as women, though, tend to internalize things and think, oh, it must be me, and it's really not. But I suffer through this all the time, and I'm always having to tell me, like, yeah, I don't know, but they don't know either. So, just push through it, and get the go look at the presentation from last time. I think that'll be helpful.
Yes, yeah, 100%. Thank you. And so now, I know we only have 3 minutes, but Jessica, I want you to ask your question before we sign off.
Oh, yes. Thank you, everyone, for your feedback and advice today. My question was, have you ever had an opportunity that seemed advantageous but turned out to be not a great fit for your career? And then did you turn it down? Or how did you navigate walking back from that opportunity?
Professor Smith, do you want to chime in on this one?
Oh, yeah. So, when you're married and you have a two-body problem, sometimes you have to take the job when your spouse has a great opportunity. And I had one of those that happened, and I thought it would be a great job. That I had friends there already at the company, and it turned out it wasn't good at all. And we just left. Just remember, you're not wedded to these companies. I just posted in there for Sarvi, most engineers have 5 to 7 jobs in their career. So if it's something that has turned out to be a bad choice, hey, find another job, leave. If it's something that you can't push through, then go. I mean, in my situation, I had a different time. As we had a school chair that was not very good to women and other minorities, but school chairs are temporary, and I decided to wait that one out. But in a position where, it's your boss and they may not go anywhere for the next 25 years, and you don't like it and you don't see any way around it, hey, you have a choice. Go find a better job. That's the best thing you can do. Go find a better job. So,
Good.
Or a better boss. They say
Or
choose
or a
your
better
boss,
boss. Yeah.
not your job. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Does that, Buvana or or Miriam, do you have any other comments before we leave?
So one thing I want to add is some of these also is like it comes with experience. See, when I was young, I was more naive, and then I was having all these kinds of emotions, all this self-doubting, and but it's a process. I think we need to let the process play out, and with experience and with more interactions with other people in the field, and hearing from other people about their experience, that also helps you to kind of see that, okay, it's not all doom and gloom. So if there is a path for me, so I think I think that helps.
And I would like to add that representation matters a lot. So we all have negative experiences because of that. If we didn't have this type of forum when we were early career, so you have this, take advantage of this and know that. So for us women, empowering each other, supporting each other in the workforce, leave jealousy, leave those things at home. When you empower each other, support each other, this is one of those cases that the rising tides lift all boats. So if one of us goes up, it's good for us. Trust me.
Yes.
It looks, next time you talk in a room, if there's another woman in another room talking, then people tend to listen better. If you're the only one, it's not a good situation. So help each other, support each other.
Oh, and on that note, I think that is a beautiful ending to all of this. So thank you everyone that listened in and that are listening it later on when we're going to post it on YouTube. But thank you so much, and check your email soon, and we will be hearing from you, or we will be reaching out to you soon. So thank you so much to all of our speakers. Round of applause. That was so wonderful. I took away something, and I'm going to go back to my job and I'm going to feel empowered. And so I really appreciate everyone. Y'all are just wonderful, wonderful women, and we are very blessed to have you today. So thank you so much. You did a wonderful service to all of us. So thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
And thanks,
you.
Natasha.
All right. Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
Take
Good to
care.
meet you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.